What are sort of your maybe top 3 tips for people who are wanting to achieve weight loss?
Right. So, it's nice keto's been getting so much attention, but I also think it has opened the door for people really trying to capitalize on it. And unfortunately, that comes with some bad information or some products that are available out there that say they're keto friendly, but are still really processed and probably not the best nutritional option. So one of my first tips is, regardless of what diet you're on, but especially with keto, focus on nutrient dense whole foods. If it came from the ground or a tree, or if it breathed, that's probably a better option than if it came from a factory. And that holds true, like I said, with keto or with really any diet. I think getting rid of the ultra processed food is really the first step, not just for weight loss, but for health. Um, and then my second tip for people is that I see there's a lot of back and forth about, should I increase fat? Should I increase protein? And I think it really depends on the goals. I am of the thought that the first couple months while you're becoming fat adapted, you probably do better with a slightly higher protein. But then people usually hit kind of a weight loss plateau in their journey. And that's the point when I really start cutting back on added fat. And I will be honest, that doesn't work well for everyone. Some people do better staying on a higher fat ketogenic diet, and some do better kind of, reducing the added fats, the cream, the butter, the oils, and focusing more on protein. But I think it really is dependent on the person, where they are at in the process, and what are their goals. Are they trying to put on muscle mass, maintain muscle mass? What works for a 25-year-old male is not going to work the same way for a 60-year-old postmenopausal female. So, we really have to take into account the individual variations there. And then my third tip with keto in general is, don't force fasting. And this is kind of a change in my thinking over the past few years. I used to think, intermittent fasting and keto really go very well together. And I think they do. I think once you're fat adapted, your appetite is suppressed. But I'm actually seeing people now who have really pushed the lever on fasting. They're down to like one meal a day, or they're doing frequent 36, 48-hour fast. And while they don't feel very hungry, they start, having more or more significant decreases in muscle mass. They're losing more lean body mass. Their hair starts thinning. Sometimes we're seeing hormone dysfunction, thyroid dysfunction, and you put them back on 3 meals a day. And I'm not saying like they need to eat every few hours and need to be snacking, 3 meals, maybe in a 10-hour window or so. And they do very well. And they get past that weight loss plateau, their hormones regulate, their thyroid returns to normal. They stop having all this hair shedding. And we see their fat loss increase again. So there's just so many different variations, and I hate to make like general statements, because I know that's not going to be the case for everyone, right? But in general, for the most part, I think not forcing fasting, focusing on whole foods, and maybe decreasing some of the added fats once you're fat adapted would probably be my top tips.
So, all right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning into the episode today. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a wonderful time chatting with Dr. Baier, and